Okay, 3.2, we're factoring like we've been doing, but now we're adding solving. So when we solve, we get our standard form to factored form. So this just has like A's and R's. It looks kind of weird, but these are just two factors. The R's are called roots. They're just the numbers that are in the factors. And what happens is we set that equal to 0. So when we solve, it must be equal 0. It can't be any other number. And we do that because when you have two numbers and the answer is 0, one of them must be 0. A must be 0 or B must be 0. So we're trying to find both cases of that 0 happening. So if these were factors, we would set A equal to 0 and see what that needed to be, and then we would set B equal to 0. And those two numbers are our factors. So here's an example. We're just going to factor it, but we're going to add the solving. So factoring times the first times the last number. So 1 times 48 equals 48. Then we're going to find the factors. 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 4 times 12, 6 times 8. So you want to pick the two numbers that add or subtract to our middle term. It's 2. That got kind of hard to see. I went over it. So I'm going to do positive 8 minus 6 because that gives me positive 2. So positive 8x minus 6x. I just rewrote it, didn't change anything. And then I'm going to bring down the x squared and the minus 48. But now we have an equal 0. And we're going to group and take out the greatest common divisor. So these both have an x. I'm going to take that out. And then remember, when this leading number is negative, we're going to divide by that. So 6 and 48 both divide by 6, but we're going to make sure it's the negative 6. And we'll see what's left over. Okay, so x squared over x is just x. The x's cancel out and we have plus 8. Negative 6, that leaves the x. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Yay! Equals 0. So here's our factored form. It's what we took out. X minus 6. And then it's the one that's doubled. So x plus 8. The new thing is this equals 0. So the zero product property says this 0 goes to the first one, the root one, and the second one, and we solve both of those. So I like to just draw a line down the middle and have x minus 6 equals 0 and x plus 8 equals 0, and you're going to solve both of these little equations. You probably can see the answer, but I'm going to write out the work anyway. To get x by itself, I plus 6 on both sides, so x equals 6. On this one, to move the 8 to the other side, I'm minus 8 on both sides. So x equals negative 8. And those are our two answers. So x equals, you're going to type it in usually with a comma, 6 comma negative 8. And that is how you solve by factoring.